Hello everyone, and welcome to 𝙍𝙬𝙑𝙀 Live Gaming. I'm Xavier, and today we're doing something a little different. We're playing Marvel's Avengers, and I'm going to share my Miss Marvel build. Miss Marvel is my favorite character in the game right now, and I really just like her because I think she has a great kit. I like everything she uses in her kit, which is why my build is I don't mid-max any of my stats. I go for more of a jack of all trades type build because I like to use everything in her kit. So my Miss Marvel's not going to be pulling numbers like a Thor Valor build, but she can hold her own on Brutal, and she's still good for as a support character. So let me. Oh no! Before I get into my gear, I just wanted to say that I hate the um, RNG gear in this game. I think it's terrible. I don't have the time or patience to run around hoping to get a god drop from a chest or an enemy. So I mainly just farm exotics since those drops are more predictable. But once the game adds, hopefully they'll add like some type of gear recalibration system, something similar to like Ghost of Tsushima, and then I will actually take the time to optimize my gear slots. So I'm just gonna go through the gear I have on right now, and then I'll discuss like my ideal piece of gear if I was able to customize my gear. So let me start with melee here. So for melee, these stats are fine. Only thing I would change is just I'd probably take out position and put Valor or Resolve, but I'm fine with that position being there. I need the intensity because I do a lot of status effect damage, and I like to feel the bar quickly, and this is the only piece that has intensity. But I have a Pim on my light combo finisher and Pim on my heavy power attacks, which is great. And then I have a potentiator that's also Pim. Now, this is a great drop. I got this from a Mega Hive, I believe, a few months ago. But my ideal drop would be, um, let's see, the first slot I would want Flawless Empowerment, which gives me intrinsic burst every time I get a melee, or not every time, 48% chance on a melee critical hit. And then for my next two perks, I would prefer the heavy power attack have Pim and a polymorph flare. If I had that combination, I can get my basically have unlimited polymorph because I'll constantly get my intrinsic bar back, and then that polymorph would have extra critical attack damage. And my polymorph attacks have an increased chance of doing critical attack from some of the skills I picked in the mastery tree. So that would be my ideal build. Combining those three perks, then similar stats. But we can't do that yet because there's no. I haven't gotten that perfect drop, and there's no gear recalibration. So I'm just keeping these here in case they do add something similar to Ghost of Tsushima, or I can sacrifice these pieces of gear just to like learn that gear perk, and then maybe combine them together later. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do if they're gonna do anything. But I'm just keeping them here just to be safe. Actually, yeah. Let me go ahead and lock that. But this is the melee gear I have on right now. Let's see. Oh, let me put all my stats up. All right, my next piece is the range. Oh, can I not select it while the stats are up? No, I can't. Okay. I have the range here. I've had this one for basically a year now. I know it's a purple and the stats are terrible. I just love having Pim and Gamma on all my range attacks. Um, where's this drop? This only drops from villain sectors, the random villain sectors that show up around the map, but not the ones that happens weekly. These are the real random ones, like Attack on the Anthill, those kind of missions. If you play those, those are the ones that drops this. This piece of gear. What do I have to say about this? So as you see, I don't really care about the stats. I care more about the perks, and that is that I have the Pim and Gamma, so that's positive and negative status effects on all my range attacks. And then I got lucky enough to have this one has a damage buff if I defeat an enemy for critical range attack, which doesn't happen too often, but it's nice to have a chance to proc the damage buff. Now, my ideal piece of gear for this would really just be this, but with better stats. Um, I can't think of. You can't, like I said, I can't find this piece of gear anywhere else besides those random villain sectors to show up. So I can't get anything better than the purple. They drop the regular villain sector, the weekly or the daily villain sectors drop this piece of gear, but this is not the. You can see it has Pim on the range attacks, but the Gamma's only on held enemies, and that's not what I want. I want it on all the attacks, range attacks. So yeah, this is unfortunately is super weak because of the stats, but I love the perks. So I would actually keep this. I'll just hopefully get better stats on this in the future if we can re-roll stuff. I guess if you don't want to go that route, you could go for a Sonic build. Here I have a targeted empowerment, so if I get a critical hit with my range attack, I'll get intrinsic burst, which recharges my, the bar. So that plus when you grab an enemy and you squeeze them, you're gonna get a lot of critical hits, and that critical hit will just fill up your bar, so you can hold an enemy indefinitely until they die because of that targeted empowerment. And then the sonic damage would be great because I need a negative to match my positive Pim from my heavy melee attacks. And Sonic's just good overall because you'll basically just be a standing battery for your teammates to come to you while you're crushing an enemy. But like I said, I prefer this. But if you don't want to go, if you don't like these weak stacks, you should farm something similar to this. I think Sonic's the best one out there right now. I just need Pim on my Miss Marvel so I can shrink enemies and pick them up. Let's see. So my chest, I got this from what's this from? The Mega Hive, I think. Hive, yeah, Hive Mine. Um, this is just really just for the stats. Yeah, the only perk I care about on here is the untouchable Jarvis barrier, which isn't even great. I would prefer something like a reactive Jarvis barrier or a reactive buff, but I haven't found either of those that had good stats as well. So I'm really only using this for the stats, and the untouchable Jarvis barrier is just a plus. Let's see. And the last one, this is the one that you should have on every Miss Marvel, is I think you get this one from the last Avengers standing. You can see the three perks. Well, the first two perks are the main ones. Mighty Spirit. Anyone affected by your team spirit deals 20% more damage. And the second one, Proficient Spirit, you get 35% more chance at a critical attack, which is great. This is like a damage buff light. I think a damage buff is like 60% more damage, and then 40% more, or 40% chance of, I don't know the stats. Maybe it's 40% chance of critical attack from a damage buff. So this is like a damage buff but light, and you can use it for 18 seconds because of the perks you can pick on her mastery tree. So yeah, every Miss Marvel should have this because these stats, these buffs, they also apply to Miss Marvel, not just her teammates. I've tested it. It doesn't show up on your hub. It doesn't tell you that the buffs are there on you, but they are applied to you as well. So that's good. You can get a mini damage buff whenever you want by just applying that. Oh, I didn't even talk about the stats. I'm pretty sure this is nerfed. You can't get these stats this high anymore. You see, I have 81 Valor, 81 Resolve, and 74 Precision. I don't think you can get that high anymore. I think the highest you can get is just like 60, 60, 60. So I was lucky enough to get this before they nerfed that piece of gear. And then you can see I didn't really have any. I only had one thing to resolve. So these other pieces are just cleaning up what I'm missing. So, oops. So this ice. Can I just? How do I zoom in on this thing? Um, so this ISO has some resolve and resistance and some might, and the perk is the reactive cosmic payload, which I think is great to have because that I try to have every character have the cosmic payload and the cosmic surge. Those are just good passives to have in the background. But yeah, I have resolve and might on here, and resilience isn't too important, but I don't think I have resilience anywhere else, right? See, you should always have this a little bit. It's not too important with Miss Marvel because she has great survivability. In the other ISO, I have Might, Valor, and Proficiency to help me get those crits more often. And this one has the Cosmic Surge buff, which I think everyone should have the Cosmic Surge buff. Oh, it also just has a increased charge rate for my ultimate ability, which is good. Now, if you feel like you're too squishy with this, because my resolve's only two, was that? I don't have my glasses on. 127 was that 1500? No, 15,000. Yeah. So you can. I have another one in case the enemies are too tough. I haven't. Well, there aren't that many tough enemies in the game right now, so maybe it'll change with the raid. But which one? So I would replace that and put this in there because this has more resolve and more resilience. It also increases my support ability, recharge rate, which is great if I'm being more defensive. And it also has the Cosmic Surge buff. But until I see something that's, more deadly, I'm just going to stick to this one for now. Let me show my stats real quick before I go to perks. See all my stats. So you can see I'm kind of even across the board. Nothing's like too crazy ahead of any other stat. I have a good charge rate on most of my abilities down there. Oh, I forgot about this. Major artifact. I just used Tachyon. You can use whatever, I think. I like the Tachyon because you see I'm doing a lot of status damage with this piece in particular. I can spread gamma really quick with this piece by just picking people up and running them and throwing them around the room. So I prefer the Tachyon since I'm going to spread gamma quickly and that just gets how much damage here? 13% damage to those affected by any status, and I can apply gamma really quickly. But I guess if you're going against the boss, you can put on the Nordstone, and maybe even that I don't even know what it's called. I haven't unlocked it yet. That Pim, the one where you can summon Hank Pym. I think that increases your Pym damage as well, which is good for Miss Marvel because you want to shrink enemies so you can pick them up and squeeze them. I don't have that thing unlocked. I think you have to play inside the Wasteland unlock, and I haven't been playing inside the Wasteland since that's got released 10 months ago. I just haven't gotten it yet. And you can never go wrong with the ring, but I prefer the Tachyon. I mean, it's nice that it also adds on Might and Valor as well. I wonder why that's the only one that does it though. Oh, this one, but you don't want that. Yeah. All right, let's look at the perks. That's all the same. See, for the support, you want to go for an extra charge, so you can have 2 charges. This is great because you can have 1 charge to actually heal you and your team, and then 1 charge you can just use that so you can activate that buff that you got from your heroic piece. So yeah, so every time, so you should never be sitting on 2 charges of your support. Second, you have 2, just go ahead and pop it so you can get that free damage buff and critical attack chance. And then you'll save the other charge, the other support charge, if your team needs it. And then instead of getting another charge, you just go for this to add an extra 8 seconds so you can have that buff for 18 seconds. See, for the assault, I always go for down low. This is great. I used to use it for crowd control. I don't think the other ones are good at all. This is just increase the damage to a single enemy. Well, maybe because my valor isn't that high, so this doesn't do too much damage. And this has a nice area of effect, but I'd rather just group all the enemies up together. And this gives me some breathing room if I'm getting overcrowded. I can just push them all away. So, you can push them all off the map too, even the big enemies. So I would prefer to have this just to bring them all together, and it's easier to apply status effect like Gamma when they're all close together from me grouping them up like that. Then of course you want to go with the patty cake, which is the opposite to this, so you can get some heroic orbs. See, for the ultimates, you want to go for more time, extra 5 seconds. And I see most people go for either increase the extended duration whenever you get a kill or chance of heroic orb. I rather just go for the critical attack damage. Adds 35% more damage to critical attacks. I think I can get my Biggin pretty quickly between my Cosmic Surge and my other skills in the Mastery Tree. It doesn't take too long to get the Biggin back, so I'd rather just go for the damage than the other two. But I mean, like all three of these are good, but I just prefer to go for the higher critical attack damage, because that's 35% on top of my. How much do I have right now? Like 290 something. No, I have 269. So if I just add, that 35% on top of that, it's going to get 300 plus. Let's see. Go through these quickly. Of course, you want this to help you get your heroics back faster. I went for increased range damage because I use my range attacks a lot, especially squeezing people to death. So yeah, definitely go for this one. If not this one, then go for the increased combo finishers damage. Yeah, orbs, of course, orc orbs. Always go for the concussive shot. I don't. This is probably the best one. You could go for the pierce, but I mean, it has the same effect, kind of. It's just that look at the animation. You can tell the difference between the concussive and the pierce. The pierce just takes longer. You see when she brings her arm back, it takes her a second to get it back in place compared to the concussive. So I just go for the concussive. That's just fast. That's just better DPS. And that concussive blast is spreading the status effect from my range piece as well. So I prefer the concussive. So if you combine that with, if you group them all together with this, and then you hit them with that ranged concussive, that's spreading the gamma and PIM to all those enemies really quickly. So I prefer the concussive. Reduce hold how much energy you use when holding an enemy by 40%. This one doesn't even work. Prevents being interrupted from enemy attacks while holding an enemy. I've been knocked out of holding an enemy while I have this perk equipped, so I don't think this one works. I prefer this one to save energy. Chance to, well, this one, I feel like this one doesn't work either. 25% chance to generate heroic orb after slamming an enemy onto the ground. I think it might be missing some text here. I think you have to kill an enemy by slamming them on the ground. Because I never get this to pop. But I just have it there because that's always good. Heroic orb, if it ever does happen. I'll go for this one. Save 40% of the energy when you're activating your polymorph. I went for critical. Oh, this is just melee damage whenever I use my polymorph. It's probably the best one, I think, out of the three here. Yeah. And then this one I also went for increased chance of getting a critical hit when using polymorph. Now, this reduces how much energy it takes to use these two specific moves. I don't actually use the whirlwind too much because I think it doesn't do enough damage for how much energy it takes. I always go for the slam, mainly when I'm in biggin. You can use any of these. I just go for this one. That's easy to get my intrinsic back just from doing a quick dodge. And then you can go for any of these as well. I just like the open. My parries aren't great, so I like to have the window wider. So yeah, that's Oh, I forgot the champion system is here. Well, you know the champion system's broken. If you didn't know, it's broken. So I would just go for critical damage boost, critical chance boost, and go for the heroic charge rate. Don't invest anything in a combat boost. This doesn't work. I mean, they say it's working as intended, but let's just say it's not worth you investing points into this at all. Not until you're done with everything else. Am I missing anything? It's my first time doing a guide without, and I don't even have a script or anything, so I think I covered everything. I guess I could just, yeah. So my health and armor's really low, but that's okay with Miss Marvel because she has so many opportunities to heal herself. She has a support ability which she can use twice, and whenever she holds down her intrinsic button when she's in polymorph mode, she heals automatically. So even if you're getting beat up out there, if you just run away from the fight for just a few seconds and hold down the intrinsic button, and she'll start healing up, and then you get back into the fight. I think she's the only character in the game that can do that without using a heroic. Yeah, I don't think anyone else can heal passively like that. So yeah, she can afford to have low health and armor because she can just heal herself in um, many different ways. But like I said, if you think that's too squishy, you can just add something, add some more resolve and resilience with your ISOs. But yeah, that's my build. I guess I'll leave a clip here of. Oh, I guess I'll record a clip and I'll play some of me fighting some enemies in the harm room on brutal or something to show that she can.